What is up, you guys? It's a new week. Are you not excited? I am excited. I'm back in the spinning chair. Hold on. That was a very slow spin, but a spin nonetheless, right? And the same thing could be said about USC Colorado, which is a win is a win. Now, this entire episode, I'm going to be so honest with you. It's only going to be about USC Colorado. Just because I really want to break down the entire game if I can, or maybe key moments. So this episode is very clear what it is, which is USC Colorado. My reaction, what I saw, I could be wrong about some stuff, which is fine. So let's just get into it because I'm ready to talk about it. I will tell you this. If you did not watch the USC Colorado game, I will assume that you live under a rock. Just kidding. I'm going to cut you some grace because the game was at 12 p.m. Eastern time. I'm on Pacific Coast time, so that should tell you I had to get up at 9 a.m. to watch this game. For others, it might have been an 11 a.m. game for you. But I guess it's fine because we are so used to Pac-12 after night, and usually there are these later games, but I guess Fox was like, no, we want this game at the top of the hour. I am interested to see how many viewers they got. I wouldn't be surprised if it was probably north of 10 to 11 million viewers. So USC won the game 48-41. You hear that score and you will automatically think that it was a close game the entire game. And that is not the full picture. And I'm going to tell you why. I have my laptop right here, so it has the stats. USC scored 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. Colorado scored none. Colorado made a very, pivotal decision in the beginning of the game where they could have went for it, and instead they decided to elect to kick the field goal to get 3 points, and they missed it. I felt like at that point, you're in a position where your special teams isn't great. I think I would have went for it. I would have put that pressure back on USC early in the game and went and scored, because if they would have went for it and say they scored, we're looking at a possible overtime. Points add up, you can't leave there with nothing. And I get they went for the field goal, but then you miss it and you do leave there with nothing. Worst case scenario, you're going to have USC having to go down the field to score. And I like that better. So that was an interesting decision for me. As the game progressed, you saw Colorado score 2 touchdowns in the second quarter. USC ended up scoring 3 touchdowns. And then third quarter, you're looking at USC having 2 touchdowns. Colorado started to find some rhythm, 13 points in the third quarter to add. And then USC went scoreless the entire fourth quarter. They couldn't put points on the board. They ended up going for the field goal in the fourth quarter with about 6 minutes left and missed it. So they got no points. That is when Colorado was rolling, and they got 14 points in that fourth quarter, hence why we have a 7-point game. Now, again, you're probably still like, Lachelle, I'm not understanding how that wasn't a close game the entire game. This is what I will say about Colorado. I have been saying that for Colorado to have success that we have seen them have, they must play fast and up-tempo. They don't have the luxury of allowing themselves to play slow and methodical when your offensive line is not great. It can't hold up that long. Your quarterback just can't hold the ball that long because the pocket will collapse. They just can't do it. And it's not an indictment on that offensive line. It's just being honest of the assessment. I keep saying this. You could like a team, you could like a player, and still be honest about what you were seeing. I want Colorado to succeed. If you ask me, next year it's going to be a completely different story for them. They will be better. They are coming. I believe that. But this year, it is a rebuilding year. You still have to be honest about what you're seeing, right? So for me, I wanted to see more up-tempo. I don't like this whole holding the ball, keeping it in Shedeur Sanders' hand. He can make every throw on the field. I think he's very accurate and efficient, but it works better if he's moving faster. That's just how I feel. And I think when he's holding the ball for too long, it just doesn't result into the best plays possible. It ends up resulting in sacks, which I think he's been sacked almost the most in college football so far. So that's why I say you have to play to your strengths. This is what I say. And this goes to offensive coordinator Sean Lewis for Colorado. He is a fast, up-tempo coach. That's really his playing style. That's really what he was brought in there to do. If you saw TCU's game and why Colorado was so good, they played fast and up-tempo. They showed a variation of plays and route trees that allowed them to play fast, short throw, run, big play. They were able to build on each play. And since TCU, I've not seen them play fast. not really consistently. The last time we saw them play fast, Colorado State, fourth quarter, they go and win. TCU, you play fast, they win. Oregon, obviously, they didn't play that fast. They couldn't score. But what did we see against USC? They started playing fast in the second half. They made adjustments. They were playing so slow in the first half of this game. Also, too, I need Colorado. If you win the toss, I need you to start just taking the ball, receiving it. I don't like this whole kicking it. I get that it puts them in a better situation coming out of half, but even when they came out of half this time, they didn't score on that initial possession. So I just feel like they should give their offense more time to get in rhythm. I wouldn't have them sitting there and relying on their defense because the defense hasn't been consistent all year. I will say this, though. That defense stepped up today. Not in that first half, but they made adjustments in the second half. I saw a little bit of a mix of zone, but them blitzing. There's a pivotal part in the game where they do a corner blitz on Caleb Williams. He's unblocked, doesn't see it, boom. That's what I wanted to see more from them. Let's get some blitzes. Let's get some pressure. Your defensive line isn't great either, but you do have some safeties and linebackers that could come over the edge in the middle and give some pressure. Let's do that. They started throwing some different things at Caleb Williams. He ended up having an interception, which to me was him just being greedy. The guy was open, but he underthrew the ball, pick. But I just feel like Colorado's defense, I want them to make a decision of who their identity is. Because right now, their identity isn't this lockdown defense. And I know some people are going to say, well, if Travis Hunter was out there, it'd be different. Yeah, one side of the field would be covered, but that doesn't account for the other side of the field, and it doesn't account for your defensive line. So I am interested to see what happens. Travis Hunter didn't play. He's still recovering from that lacerated liver, I think, or is it a lacerated kidney? One of the two, but he's still recovering. Shiloh Sanders didn't play. He ended up saying he fell on his kidney weird during Oregon and was peeing blood, so they ended up saying he didn't play. So they were short. Cormani, the freshman that Coach Prime said was the reason he was keeping himself from the field, 5-star lockdown corner, he showed some signs that he is that guy. He really showed some signs. So I'm interested to see what that looks like when Travis Hunter gets back and Cormani's on the other side of the field. That defense is going to look way better. Person to watch out for Colorado is Omarion Miller. The man is a star. 7 receptions, 196 yards, 1 touchdown. He was the spark plug because they were losing this game, and he ends up getting a 65-yard reception. If he didn't get hawked down, it was a touchdown. He set them up, got the 2-point conversion. And then he scores, even to keep them in the game in the fourth quarter. He's a star. What I saw from him was special. He's a freshman. First game he has ever played this season. And it makes you wonder, who else do y'all have on this bench? This is what I have to say when it comes to USC. I think the defense was so stagnant because, and Omarion was able to get off and really just do his thing because he probably wasn't in the scouting report. He has not played at all this season. So Colorado kind of did something smart, which was, let's put some people out there that they don't have film on. There is no film on Omarion other than high school film, but no film collegiately of how they would play him. So he really caught USC defenders off guard because it's like, wait, where did you come from? We didn't really plan for you. We didn't game plan for you at all, really. And he ended up making a big impact. So I expect these freshmen to really start getting more reps as the season is going because what they showed me today in their first game, that they are dogs and they can really help Colorado for this entire season. Instead of just waiting on this transfer portal, you got some dogs ready to be unleashed. And what I saw from Omarion Miller is that he is a star, okay? A star in the making. And it makes sense because he's from the 318. So what can you say? But what I saw from Colorado, and again, it was interesting. I'm looking at their stats. Shedeur Sanders, 30 for 45, 371 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. Their rushing was way better. I will say that. I think they ended up totaling 193 yards rushing. There was a big run for a touchdown by Shedeur when nobody was open. I do think their receivers still struggle to get open. I don't think they run their routes the hardest, and I wish they would consistently. They need to start taking first and second down serious. I think they only want to take third down serious, and then they want to kind of do something different. But I will say this, and we're going to get into the defense right now. I talk about Colorado's defense. I just want to say that I saw a lot of improvement, and they honestly deserve a lot of credit. And I think these last few games, we have been very critical of them because we should be. Their defense hasn't been able to stop anybody. And what I saw from them in that second half was adjustments. What I saw from them was heart. They put a lot of pride. That's what I think I wanted to see from Colorado this game. How do you respond to how you lost against Oregon? That was going to tell us everything about this team and what their trajectory would be like this year. Their trajectory is trending upwards anyway, but I wanted to see how do you respond, and how they were down so early. I wondered, can you make the correct adjustments? And that's what I saw defensively. They did make the adjustments. They started giving pressure. They started defending. They started really, really coming up with big stops, a big sack in that fourth quarter. So they are capable. That's what I saw from them. Y'all are capable. So I don't think we've seen their best ball just yet. But I do think if you're Colorado, you don't have to hang your head down about this, because you lost by 7, but you should feel good about the improvements that you saw, the heart that you saw from your team, which is your defense stood up. You found out that you got another dog on the offensive side of the ball, so you don't have to put all your eggs in one basket with Travis Hunter coming back. You can let these young boys get their reps in, and when he returns, you'll probably be rolling even better than you were before. So a lot of wins for this in the sense of where the program is going to go for the continuous time of this season, right? I think they're going to win a lot more games this season. That was really the hardest two-header hit. It still doesn't get easier for them because they are in Pac-12 play, but I think this gives them a lot of confidence going forward in the season. But yes, I do agree that they're coming. You do got to get them now. I do believe in what Coach Prime is saying. You got to get them now, because it's not going to be like this forever, and it's for sure not going to be like this next season. You get more recruits. You get some transfers. Your freshmen still are there. It looks like Shador is going to be there next year as well. You're just going to be rolling. To get that extra year in that program and build that culture, they'll be just fine. This is the part in the conversation where it can get really, I guess, muddled, right? If you ask me why Colorado lost the game, I can pinpoint to you exactly when they lost it, which is at the 5:50 mark after they get the ball back after USC goes for the 3 and they end up missing the field goal. That is when they lost the game, right there. When they get the ball back, because what did they do? The opposite of what we've all been saying to their strength, which is playing fast. They played very slow. You're down 2 points. You need 14 points to either tie this game and go to overtime, or you at least got to do 2 touchdowns and put yourself in a position to win the game with a 2-point conversion, right? They get the ball about 5 minutes, 50 seconds, fourth quarter. They have no timeouts, might I add. 0 timeouts going into this. They used all their timeouts. Why are all your timeouts used when you're in the fourth quarter situation and you're down? And you still got 5 minutes left to make something happen? I don't know. That's a coaching error, if you ask me, not a player error. Coaching, that is the coach's job to make sure the timeouts are intact to put your team in a position to go win, and if you need to take a timeout. They had none. So if you know you have no timeouts, you got 5 minutes, 50 seconds to cook, you need 2 touchdowns, immediately you're going into 2-minute drill at the 5-minute, 50-second mark. 2-minute drill immediately when you get the ball. Colorado did the complete opposite. No 2-minute drill, no speed, no urgency. They started running the ball, 4 plays back to back. They had the time of possession for so long. They almost had that ball for 4 whole minutes without scoring before they did. By the time they scored, it was about 1:40 left on the clock. I was confused. Why are we running 4 running plays, might I add, when you need to be in 2-minute drill with fast, quick throws? To the sideline, might I add. Flats to the sideline, outs to the sideline, slants to the side. Whatever it is, throw the ball to the sideline and make sure someone catches it. Because you are out of timeouts, and there is not another quarter of football to be played. This is the fourth quarter, and you need 2 touchdowns. I'm sitting there like, who is calling these run plays when you could have, if you do 2-minute drill, get it quick, score, field goal, get the ball back to USC with about 3 minutes left, USC is forced to have to call plays. And your defense has showed up, so put your trust back in your defense that they will get another stop and deliver. That way, they get the stop. Guess what? Colorado gets the ball back with about 1:30 left. Then you could cook. It's all in your hands to win the game. But they go so slow in this entire possession of the game. And I'm sitting there like, do they not understand 1 touchdown only accounts for 6 points? Not 13. Not 13, not 14. It only accounts for 6 points. Eventually they score, right? Again, USC gets the ball with a minute 40 left. Guess what they do? They just got to kneel it out. Clock's on their side. Because guess what? Colorado has no timeouts. And I sat there and I was ready to blame the offensive coordinator for Colorado, which is Sean Lewis. He has a big career from the NFL to college ball, and he is known for playing very up fast tempo. I was ready. I was like, coaching is the issue. You get in the post-game conference, and Shedeur Sanders basically says that he checked out of those plays to run the ball.
Shedeur Matt Smith, 104.3 The Fan. You want to just take us through the last 6 minutes? You guys got the ball back, I think, like 5:58 with one timeout left. Felt like maybe there's some communication issues, or maybe just took a long time to get things in. What was going on?
Really, we just, all 11 players on the field wasn't going to execute that exact play call. So my thing is, I'd rather take our time, rather than have a negative play and stuff like that. So that goes on me for not controlling the offense and not controlling everybody knowing what to do in that specific play. But that's why it took. And, sometimes I took runs on some plays because it wasn't the great look that we needed. Regardless of anything, we just want to play a real clean game. And there's things we could always go back and do better. Y'all on the outside, y'all, everybody has opinions of what we can do, but y'all not in the moment. Y'all not seeing what we seeing. Y'all don't know that wasn't going to work for that. So with our change up, we got to do something else to keep it going, keep it some tempo.
So I'm sitting there like, so you are the reason that this offense was incredibly slow. He then goes on to say that, yeah, coach likes it up tempo, but I'm more of a slower guy. I didn't want us to risk having the personnel out there and the 11 guys out there that may not be able to basically execute that fast up-tempo play because of what he was seeing coverage-wise. He felt like it was in the best interest for them to go slower, so that way they didn't get negative yards.
Y'all don't know that wasn't going to work for that. So with our change-up, we got to do something else to keep it going, keep it some tempo, and have it in a positive play. So that's why we was really going slower, and I put a lot of that on me. Coach, he's really a fast tempo guy, but I slowed it down, and that's just something that I go for.
Just in that game.
I was confused when I heard that. And I want y'all to be clear. Shedeur Sanders is an amazing quarterback. He is a guaranteed first-rounder NFL quarterback. In the same breath, we must be honest of what we are seeing and hearing. I was confused because I get the negative yards thing because he knows his offensive line, I think, is just not stable enough to stand in the pocket that long, and he was starting to get sacked and run out. There's a play, it's a 4th and 5, and he gets sacked because nobody was open. So I get that. But my question starts to be to him, I get that quarterbacks can check out of plays. That's, you're at the line, you see a different coverage. There's a lot of trust for quarterbacks to do that. But you checked out of this play 4 times. That's what I'm gathering, that you checked out to run this same run play 4 times. That's a problem when you were telling me that your coach did want to go up tempo. And when they did go up tempo, guess what? They had a play where Miller gets the first down out of bounds. He ends up toe tapping on the sideline. Every time they threw it to the sidelines, guess what? They caught it. When they were running the ball, there was no success because they were getting stopped. I believe that you must let coaches coach. I believe Shedeur Sanders has very much a big IQ for the game. But it was a wrong decision to check out of what your coach was calling, because what happened was this. It was bad clock management. And he said in the interview, he said, you guys aren't seeing what I'm seeing. I understand that. We're not seeing the coverages. But I do believe we know time and math. I know that you need to score the ball 2 times in under 5 minutes. And you somehow need to do something to where you could get this ball back with about 1:30 left to give yourself a chance to get the last touchdown to tie this game or win it. And you did not do that. I don't think you have to be out there to see it. The time and the math is enough. And instead of going fast and playing to what your coach was calling, you decided to check out of it and run it 4 times. And took all this time for y'all to score, when if you would have went fast and utilized your sidelines, we might be talking about a different outcome right now, because they had the momentum. And because there was no clock management or awareness, That was the issue. This is not me like talking down on Shedeur Sanders. No, he is amazing. He is amazing. He's only going to get better. But again, there is accountability. He took accountability. He didn't go in that interview and say, but he said it. It is on me because I didn't handle the offense better. And what I took from it was, I think him understanding the back and forth of, I can check out and slow it down, but I do still need to play fast because of time. I think that's what he was really saying. He just didn't do a good job of managing that. Where I think it could have worked for them possibly, right? But you run it 4 times, you're checking out of the play, and y'all needed to go up tempo. That's where they lost the game. Because if the ball is back in his hands with about 1:30 left, there's a big chance that they win this game, or at least we're going to overtime. So hopefully you allow coaches to coach, because then that makes me think that you're not. I believe Shedeur Sanders is coachable. Duh, absolutely. I am not saying he is uncoachable. I'm not saying that whatsoever. But that is a problem if you are going against what your coach is suggesting and calling that y'all do in that type of game time decision, and you're deciding to check out of it because you want to go slower because of you not wanting to get negative yards when you need to get points. That tells me that there's some lack of trust somewhere, and that needs to be rectified. Sean Lewis is there to coach, and he likes to play up-tempo. When they play up-tempo, good things happen. When they play slow, good things do not happen. And I think that is where the conversation has to be, where it's like, we're getting on Sean Lewis, and he's actually not the reason for this. So I'm hoping going forward that this shows Colorado that they have the coaches, man. They got a great coaching staff. So you just got to trust it. Their defense sometimes be looking iffy to me, but I trust what I saw today, which is they made adjustments, and it made a big difference. Offensively, I was ready to be at Sean Lewis. I was like, what is this? And then for Shedeur to go up there and kind of clarify it, that he was kind of the reason it was getting slowed down, it gains more perspective, right? But hopefully going forward, again, I think they're going to find the rhythm that they need. I think this gives the defense the confidence that they need. I think their offense has had the confidence. I think for the offense, they just learned that they had another dog on the ball, which is Amarion Miller. That's a great asset. I think they also did some things in this game offensively that they haven't done in a while. Again, playing up tempo. Hopefully they stay to that. I hope this was a lesson for all of them that, we're really good as an up tempo team. I don't have to play slow. Even though he wants to, playing slower football to me, because running the ball slows the game down. In that situation, you didn't need to slow the game down because the clock is not on your side. But to me, it's more of a version of like NFL, because the NFL is a little bit slower. They don't always play fast unless they need to, which is 2-minute drill. You need a quick score, things in that nature. NFL is a little bit slower, and I think that's the style he likes to play more to. But in college, it is a little bit more up-tempo. It is faster, and it is to your advantage, especially if you play faster, especially in the Pac-12. They're just a faster conference to me. They put up a lot of points, but their defenses aren't great, which is what we saw today, right? But I'm okay with it, I guess, but it is a conversation to be had when we're all blaming Sean Lewis, but it looks like Shedeur is the reason why the game ended up getting slowed down towards the end of that game. And again, it's not all to blame. Some of it's still coaching too, but they made adjustments. But in that situation, you got to go fast. I'm sorry. You can't go slow no matter what it is. Time and math. Like, simple as that. Because going slow is not going to help you get the extra 2 scores you need. Ask me about USC. I will tell you that I think Caleb Williams is exactly who we know him to be. Caleb had about 30 for 40, 403 yards, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception. I think he tied his touchdown record from last year. He played very well. I mean, his pocket presence, his ability to step up in the pocket with pressure is really impressive. He's able to extend plays. He is able to extend plays with his legs and his arms. He's always looking up the field even when he's scrambling, which I think is such a great skill to have. A lot of guys in college football just commit to the run but don't keep their eyes up the field. He keeps his eyes up the field, and his receivers know to keep moving, which I think is so amazing, and it speaks to chemistry, because in college football, most people run the route and then they stop. But at USC, I think because they know him so well and they have that chemistry and they've worked on it, they know, wait, play's not dead. He's rolling out. Let me get open. We saw that a lot. There was a few plays like that. Taj Washington was great. 8 catches, 117 yards, 1 touchdown. Brendan Rice, Jerry Rice's son, who was a transfer from Colorado, had a big game. 2 touchdowns, 5 catches, 81 yards. Mario Williams, 1 touchdown. 3 catches, 53 yards, and 2 others. So Singer and Wolf ended up having touchdowns as well. I mean, their rushing game was pretty solid. I mean, Marshawn Lloyd, 13 carries, 84 yards, 1 touchdown. They ended up equaling over 95 yards, so not a great rushing game. Colorado obviously beat them on that front with 193 yards, which speaks to Colorado's defense again, giving them credit. Because they had they really worked hard this game. But offensively, you're looking at 403 yards. So Colorado still has to work, I think, on their pass coverage. I think sometimes it's just busted coverage, and it just makes zero sense to me. But I think they will get better. They will get better. But I think the problem with USC, I think, and why I can't just put all my eggs in the basket that they will win the Pac-12 and that they are really dominant, is that what I saw today is that they can be very laxed. They can be very foot off the gas. And if you ask me, this game shouldn't have been as close as it was toward the end. I expected it to be close in some sense, but not this close. Because, like I said, USC was dominating. And then they took their foot off the gas. You get an interception because you're getting a little greedy. Your defense isn't staying locked in. You know, I think they show these lapses at times. Their defense, I think, is their Achilles heel. And it's crazy because they have a good front line. They have great linebackers, I feel like. Safeties lack in a few areas. I think their corners may not be a shutdown. So they lack. They lack there a little bit. I think offensively, they have the manpower. Obviously, you have a Heisman Trophy winner under center for you, throwing the ball, who can make every ball. You know, he just makes these spectacular plays. They have a good, solid running back core, I think, when they're kind of shifting in and out of their backs. I think they run hard. I think they have powerful backs, right? But when you're talking about just their defense, yeah, I just think they lack there. And I think, like, that's fine, but I don't know if you could win the Pac-12 like that. I think this game, to me, showed me a lot about Colorado, but it also showed me a lot about USC, which is their Achilles heel is their defense. And I don't know how many games they can win like that. Because they're gonna go into some things. Like, let's look at their schedule real quick, because they got some people coming. So they got Arizona, Notre Dame, Utah. That's only the next 3 games. So if they're gonna play like this defensively, I think they're gonna find themselves in trouble if they can't defensively get it together, but offensively also keep their foot on the gas. They kind of showed this same lack offensively against Arizona State. They won 42-28, but kind of the same thing, just taking your foot off the gas, not offensively staying locked in, making these silly errors, not being disciplined in the times when they are in the lead. I think that is a problem because, like I said, the next 3 games are going to determine a lot for them in their future in the college playoff for this year and also just in the Pac-12. So hopefully they figure that out. But again, you know, people have talked about the Caleb Williams-Shedeur thing and how does this, like, I guess, measuring stick look for them quarterback-wise. And I do think the gap is not as wide, but it's also not as close. Like, I think Caleb, his awareness is just a little bit better. I think he's increased his completion rate this year almost by like 10%, which I think is a big deal. That tells me that he's throwing the ball more efficiently. He's going through his reads really well. That does not take away anything from Shedeur Sanders. Again, they are both guaranteed first rounders. But I think for Shedeur, you know, you get him a good O-line, I think we'll see more. We'll see him more going through his progressions and everything of that nature. But they both played amazing. You can't ask for anything else or better from them or more when you have one giving you 403 yards and another one giving you 371. That's a great game for both quarterbacks. One with 6 touchdowns, one with 4 touchdowns. Both had 1 interception. So Shedeur, obviously 30 for 45, so that's 15 throws he missed. Caleb, 30 for 40, he missed 10 throws. Overall, you measure them and say to yourself, they are really good quarterbacks in college football, and they will be fine with their futures. They will be future stars in the NFL. So it was great to see it because I think how they both responded was really well. And it's fun when you see how do players respond to comparisons or this matchup that gets really glorified by the media and how they also can lead their team. So both of them, to me, Shedeur Sanders and Caleb Williams, I can't wait to see them in the NFL against each other, and just to be there, period, because they're the future. They are the future. I can tell you that right now. I told y'all that this episode was only about USC Colorado. That was the breakdown. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the game, and I plan to watch more Colorado games because let's look at their schedule. Because who they got next? Arizona State, which they battled against USC last week. That's going to be good to see. Stanford, UCLA, Oregon State. Those are their next 4 games. I can see them going 2-2. I can see it. I can even maybe see them going 3-1. I'm telling you, I think they gain a lot of confidence defensively after this game against USC, and I think that's the spark that they needed. I think offensively they're going to keep getting better, but the future is bright for Colorado. They're trending upward, I'm telling you. So they're 3-2 right now. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. So it's going to be exciting to see. Again, thank you guys so much for taking the time to join on the channel and watch this video. I always appreciate y'all. I hope that y'all are blessed when y'all are watching it because y'all bless me. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, comment. Tell me what you saw from the game and kind of your opinion and thoughts on it. I would love to hear it. But other than that, I'm going to see y'all next week.